Joel Hickerson, grindog.com. Today we're going to learn how to draw landscapes. Now, taking into consideration I'm a cartoonist. As a cartoonist, I use landscapes more as just a filler. So I keep the subject or the objects very simplified. So if I draw a desert landscape, for instance, I might draw some mesas out in the background. Just some simple shapes. And maybe draw a saguaro cactus or two in the foreground, maybe disappearing into the background. Some other cactus shapes. Just to kind of fill up the space a little bit for whatever character I'm putting in the front. So even though it's a desertscape, and a desert can be very complicated in the background, I try to avoid that because what I'm interested in is what's in front of that. So if my desertscape is drawn, even the mesas kind of disappear into more of a silhouette in the background. I might throw a real subtle long cloud in there just to kind of give a feeling of aridity. Very dry scape. Then if I want to go to the mountains are even easier. It's just a bunch of peaks, maybe with a snowy field in the front, snow caps on the mountains, transition between 2 or 3 even, and then maybe these clouds are a little more full of moisture, so they'll be a little more bulbous than the clouds I used in the desert. Again, I come in, and even though they have snow on the top, these mountains are pretty much shapeless. The snow in the foreground is just white, a white line. And lastly, maybe we want to draw a seascape. So the classic water is always just a bunch of half circles leading up into maybe a wave cresting. And again, like the mountains, you have a little bit of white crest on it, which goes back to the half circles and maybe another wave off into the background. And then in the background you might have a craggy cliff, again in silhouette, maybe a lighthouse at the top. And come in and do some subtle shading, nothing too serious. And again, this is my idea of the landscape, of the ocean. Again, as a cartoonist, landscapes aren't as important to me, but that's how, as a cartoonist, I would draw landscapes.